Yeah. Hello everyone. Welcome to the third episode of Secret to Success, and we are continuing like where we left off in the second episode. So today we have with us again Grandmaster Sasikiran. Thank you, sir, for coming again, and hopefully this time we'll complete the interview.
Hello. I
Yes.
hope so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, last time we were talking until 2002 your starting periods and so on. So I'll just have some questions, and then we'll also go with the story journey as well. So first of all, like
Sure.
in 2001 you already crossed 2600. Like in April 2001 your rating was 2611, but then you had a minor setback. Like I think by October 2001 you came back to 2569. So generally, like how did you consider the setback? Like what was going on your mind, and generally how do you deal with setbacks or failures and so on?
It's it was one of those tough periods, I should say, because this I think this was a period where I was playing a lot of tournaments, but then I was also having this weight loss issues. Yeah. So like, I mean, I had to like, I mean, I was really concentrated on losing weight. Yeah. So, and it was kind of a difficult period in the sense like, I also got hit by jaundice at one point. Yeah. In between. So, okay. I mean, I was working and there were, maybe the year I started to play a little bit too much. Yeah, like as I see it, the spirit from 2001 January, I have played like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it was not so much, but overall. When you're kind of having this goal of losing weight, yes, so I was finding it quite difficult in the sense like when you're losing weight, when you're having overweight, and then you are losing weight and heavily, for instance, like losing like to 25 kilos. Yeah, it was a tough journey. At some point, I got like so lean, then I kind of got hit by jaundice, yeah, and I was admitted in hospital for some time. Yeah, that was just before also the World Cup in 2001. Yeah, it was in Moscow. Yeah, and I went to Moscow straight from the hospital. Yeah, not. Although I prepared for the World Cup before the event, like once I fell down with jaundice, I kind of had to go to the hospital, and then. And I was I think it was morely like I at that weekend time my parents didn't really want me to go to the World Cup. Yeah, like okay, I mean coming from hospital, but I was kind of adamant. Yeah, like okay, I will, since I prepared so much for the World Cup, I had to go. Yeah. Although I won the first round, tough. Yeah. No, this setbacks happen. Yeah, this kinds of setback is normally happening. Like when you have to find kind of a balance between playing too much and then you have to work on chess. Yeah. So at the point, I kind of realized I had to build a proper reporter kind of thing. I was basically juggling between a lot like for one B3 and then D4 also, but it was not quite deep. Yeah. So when you actually get to meet a strong opposition, yeah, you need to have some kind of solid report area. So setback was bound to happen. But most of the time, like, okay, I think it was what can I say? It was a tough period, I should say. Yeah, like when you come out of some difficulty, yeah, and then that's I think the last interview I mentioned this period from 2000, like I mean all this health issues, and then the better period kind of started. Yeah, so what I generally do is if I have a setback, I try to discover the reason in general, what kind of mistake I did make. Yeah. No, but here it was quite clear to me that during the World Cup, it was quite clear to me I had to start building my opening report here. I had no proper report here. For instance, the game against Aengon, I had played Chigorin's defense. Yeah, I mean, I basically consider this kind of a slightly worse opening for Black, and still I was playing it. Yeah, I mean those kinds of things. Okay, if you don't have a solid reporter where you have like you covered a lot of things, and then the middle game plans in and out. Yeah, so there were some problems. So the setback act it was bound to happen. Yeah. So let's say afterwards, like started working on slowly working on building my reporter. Like okay, and what can you say? Like okay, I mean you have to look for your weaknesses and then turn them into your strengths. Yeah, many areas there were problems, not only openings. Yeah. For instance, there was also some problem with the end games. Yeah, I was not converting good positions. Yeah, and I also undertook training from Yusupo at this point, simply just to get a better idea about end games. Yeah, and then my end game results improved in a big way. Like we were working on more specifically on a very specific area, especially queen and pawn end games, because my conversion rate in this queen and pawn games was very low at that point. Yeah, so I went to train with him on this very particular subject. Yeah, and we looked at our games and we kind of made conclusions, and then he gave me a lot of exercises to work on, and I spent a week almost like mostly on in games. And after this training camp, I felt much better. Yeah, like I mean, so I started to convert queen and pawn games quite well. Yeah. So I think the point is to have if you feel that you have a weakness somewhere, it's why I think one of the ways is to work on it on a very specific area. Like for instance, afterwards I found that I had problems in rook and pawn end games. Yeah, and then I spent like 10 to 15 days just spending some time. This book by Korshnoi on rook and pawn endings was very good. Yeah, and to attack your weaknesses. Like okay, I mean to see where you're having problems and then try to to change them into strengths. Yeah. So that's how I try to deal with setbacks in general.
Yeah, that's great, sir. And you were saying that you didn't play well in World Cup, but you beat Viswanathan Anand, sir, right? If I'm not wrong, in 2002 World Cup.
No. That was a different tournament. World Cup was in Moscow. Yeah, this was okay. At the time, I think it was called World Championship. Then I think this World Cup was. This was in 2002. This was held in Hyderabad. Yeah, but although I won against Anand in this tournament, you see that after like 3 rounds, I had like 2.5 out of 3.
Yes.
And yet I failed to qualify for the main knockouts. Yeah, I mean it was first there was a 7-engine tournament, like 5 rounds, and then there was a knockout qualifier. Yeah. This actually, I mean, I had to make just half point from 2 games, yeah, and I also had white in one of those games, yeah, and yet I did not qualify, yeah. So it shows some kind of inexperience. I mean, handling a pressure situation, yeah. Because the game I lost against Kazanzano in the 4th round was crucial, yeah. Like, although I later on managed to beat him in a different tournament, this at this point it was quite. I mean, once you beat like a very top player like Anand, and then you fail to qualify, it shows more how I had to change my approach, yeah. And it is to Anand's credit that after losing this game against me, he went on to win the tournament, yeah. I think he beat Kazanzan on the final, I believe. I mean, it shows, yeah, like, okay, I mean, they have this kind of proper nerves and more correct approach to tournament play, yeah. So that kind of thing I had to develop. It was clear to me, yeah. And this was just before the Olympiad, yeah. So I mean, I already mentioned the games against Kasparov and Koshna, yeah. So World Cup was a good experience, and well, it showed me I could compete with the world's best players on an equal level. But there are a lot of areas I still had to work on, yeah.
And sir, like, how much do you focus on rating? I was talking about the 2001 period. Do you really focus on rating? Like, sometimes you increase and decrease. So how much?
I never bothered about the rating that much. I felt it was more like a number kind of thing. In general, also I don't bother that much about rating, but sometimes it does make sense to bother about rating. Yeah. It's not like totally it's not like one shouldn't totally bother about it. My okay, I had some highs and lows, so it is kind of my experience. If you should play when you actually feel like playing, yeah. That is the thing that I mostly learned from all this stuff. You should, when you feel like playing, like you have worked for a long time, and then you have prepared for a while, and then you have this motivation to play, and then many things. If you feel like playing, then you should play, yeah. And many times when I have played, when I really don't feel like playing, I've lost a lot of rating, yeah. So this rating thing, like, okay, I mean, there are a lot of things that are based on rating, yeah. For instance, this qualification to the national team, and there is I think also the cutoff in the World Cup, rating cutoff in the World Cup, and also the rating cutoff in the World Rapid and Blitz Championship. Many things there are. So now rating has become more important, yeah. I mean, at the time I didn't feel that much about rating. Now I think, okay, I mean, players should consider. I mean, how to not that to save rating as such, but to approach the game more carefully, like to plan what events to play and what to skip, yeah.
Yeah,
So that like you should play when you are actually feeling like playing, and then you should skip when you don't feel like playing, yeah. That kind of planning is important to to keep the progress going, yeah. To get I mean, if you get a good rating and then keep progressing, yeah, that's more relevant, yeah, now. So rating is basically connected to like how you plan things out when you start playing tournaments, yeah.
like some of my friends, they even calculate between rounds. For, let's say, they make a draw with a lower rated, they consider they are going to lose 3 points and so on. So what would
that kind of thing never. No, I don't really bother during the tournament, yeah. I mean, I generally not bother. I see after the end of the tournament, I check how much I won or how much I lost in the process, yeah. but it was never never during the tournament. I never used to calculate, in the sense that if you keep bothering about rating, you can't really play your natural game. That's what I feel about it. Yeah.
And also, sir, you talked about like tournaments so much. Like, how do one choose tournaments? Like, how do you plan your tournaments? Let's say, like, how many tournaments do you intend to play every year, and which tournaments to play exactly?
Uh, Depends upon how much strong events I think I mean a strong and improving player should try to play as many strong tournaments as possible, but not more than, let's say, not more than 10 tournaments per year. Yeah, for sure not. Yeah, you should play. My opinion, I think the ideal would be to for an improving player, ideal would be to play something close to 8 to 9 tournaments a year. Yeah, and with a lot of space between the events. Yeah, I mean, you can play two events in a row. Like, okay, let's say you're playing two open tournaments, and then it also depends upon the energy level. Yeah, and how much energy you give to each and every game. I generally give a lot of energy to every game. Like, for instance, every game must be, I mean, for instance, every game I play to the full. Yeah, there is no uh, uh, unless, like, okay, I mean, let's say in a close tournament, and if I'm black, okay, maybe sometimes I'm taking draws to conserve energy for a later game. Yeah, but all the most of the other time I'm trying to play every game to the full, so it takes a lot of energy out of me. Yeah, and so I would say, like, 7 to 8 tournaments would be ideal, and then you should find a lot. You should find that between tournaments you should be able to work on your games. This is most important. Yeah, and even now, like, when I go to when I'm playing tournaments, when I come back, I immediately input my games and see where I went wrong, and try to, like, what my thought processes during the game, like what variations I calculated, what variations I missed. The analysis is practically the only way to understand oneself. Yeah, like, there is no other way to you have to analyze your games, and then if you're making some kind of typical errors, let's say, you probably lost a half point here and there, or probably failed to convert a winning position, or I mean, always you're trying to look for weaknesses in your game and then try to improve that area. Yeah, so ideally, I think I would say 9 tournaments would be ideal. Yeah, and you should at least spend 3 to 3 months on preparation. Yeah, without playing. Yeah, in a year.
So, like, there are players like Gukesh who play like around 20 tournaments a year. So, what do you think about that? Like 20 or
No, I see the point. Like, when you're young and improving, yeah, it is very difficult to. I understand that it is necessary to keep practice. Yeah, but a point of time will come, like, where you kind of making more uh, making your progress more difficult by playing a lot. Yeah, so you should strike a balance between to play and to have I mean, this practice is very good, like, okay, but 20 is still a big number. I would say 20 tournaments is quite a big number. You spend a lot of energy on those, and sometimes this work between tournaments is not so easy. Yeah, if you play 20 events, yeah, let's say, I mean, you work with the trainer, like you have a permanent trainer. I mean, if the trainer is traveling along with you, then it's all right. At least, between the tournaments you can still work. Yeah, but I would advise, like, still still 9 tournaments, or maybe 10 maximum, should be the ideal way for to make progress. Yeah, I mean, more the more the number of tournaments, you will get more games to analyze. Yeah. But sometimes some of these tournaments you simply don't have the energy to play, and still you have to play in the sense that would actually make it worse. Not your results might get worse, and then your rating might actually go down. Yeah. So I think it is also dependent on individually how people play. Yeah, like I cannot say this because when I was young, like I said, like this period from November 2001 to December, March 2002, I played 6 tournaments. Yeah, within a space of like say 3-4 months. Yeah, continuously I was playing, and I still managed to take first place or equal first place. Yeah, so you can't really say these things. But it came to a certain point that at some point I realized that playing too much might actually harm my game. Yeah. So at that point, I think the players will come to realize that at some point. Yeah. So at the time, then like you need to make the necessary changes accordingly and then play less a little bit.
And also, like regarding, like there are different types of tournament, like tournaments where usually like Dubai Open or Abu Dhabi, where there are many strong players, and some tournaments where you play for cash prize. And especially, like how do you balance between those two? And especially at your level, mostly you are like in the top 10 seeds, or you are the top seed in most of the tournaments you play. So
no, open tournaments, it's a completely different story altogether. Yeah, open tournaments, actually I played many open tournaments, and it's always a tough one to play in open tournaments, because you have to take some kind of risk to make it to the top prize list. But also at some point, you have to curtail your ambition if you're already in the top, and then you have to curtail your ambition to to stay at the top. Yeah. So open tournaments is okay. I mean, this year I did not play the Aeroflot Open, but last year when I played Aeroflot Open, I started with a very good start, like 5 out of 5. Yeah. And many of my friends, they tell me, like, after 5 out of 5, you should just cruise through to the end. Yeah, like, okay, make a few draws here and there and just play solidly, and then I mean, if you but I still continued playing in the same vein, like, okay, taking risk, and eventually I think I finished only third. Yeah, so it was it's a kind of I mean, I felt bad after the event, like, okay, I mean, how can I after getting such a great start not finish in first place. Yeah. So this kind of thing, like, okay, I mean, this Aeroflot was very, very strong open, of course. Yeah. And during the event, yeah, like at some point you need to realize that, okay, your results also matter. Yeah, like, okay, taking first place in Aeroflot would have been like a dream come true. Yeah, like I would get an invitation to Dortmund event and so on. Yeah, so it is it's what can I say, it was something that was like a little bit painful. Yeah, not to take and I came to realize, like, okay, I mean, what is natural for some people, like, for instance, they are born tournament players. Yeah, like when they know exactly when to take a risk and when to stop taking a risk and then to play solidly. Yeah. A good tournament player is to understand this stuff more carefully. Yeah. In fact, it's not easy for this part was not quite easy for me. For instance, you see there is a parallel. Yeah, like 2002 World Cup, I had 2.5 out of 3 after, and then I needed just half point out of 2 games. Yeah. So I would say in a way, this is the thing that I still have to learn. Yeah, like, okay, I mean, you see these two tournaments, like where I had fantastic starts, still not managed to get into whatever was required. So it is something that has always been bothering me for all this while. Yeah, like you should know to understand what you when you made some very good steps. Yeah, and then sometimes you need to curtail your emotions and ambitions and then make the correct proper approach to the tournament. Yeah. So it's still some kind of bother for me that I'm not managed to, I put a lot of emotions into the game. Yeah. So that should be curtailed if you want to become a good tournament player. Yeah. And okay, this is about open tournaments. Closed tournaments, it is also it's more normal this thing. And in general, closed tournaments have been like I've generally played very well in closed events. Yeah, this 2017 Capablanca Memorial I won. Yeah, closed events you can see that okay. I mean, you have kind of more balanced approach, like say. You can make a specific preparation for our opponent and prepare many days before the event and try to play solidly with black and then take risk with white and so on. Yeah. So this open tournament, yeah. So that is one area I think I'm not completely mastered. Yeah, like playing very open events. Yeah. Sometimes if I'm in very good shape, I simply win by a big margin. But sometimes, like even if I had a fantastic start and still I've not managed to win the event. Yeah. So it's a question like, okay, I simply understood that I have to control my emotions more. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
It's that's what I have, at least for, as far as myself is concerned. Others place, of course, it is you have to. Everybody must make their own strategy. Yeah, it's more about understanding about yourself and then to have the correct strategy to have a balanced approach towards the tournament. Yeah.
And sir, like generally you were mentioning about Aeroflot. Even I was playing in that tournament, and like after winning 5 games, like what was your attitude? Like were you considering to stay in the present, or like you were already thinking about winning the tournament?
Not really. I mean, I was quite happy that it was a great start, and simply if you see my sixth round game against Amin from Iran, I was practically playing perk defense. Yeah, this is unheard of. Like, okay, I mean, when you're having such a big lead, yeah. Like I think at that point I was already having a 1 point lead, maybe I don't know, maybe half point or 1 point probably, and then the sixth round I played perk against Amin, and the next round I played Kings Indian. Yeah, it was. I mean, in my mind, it was that I was in good shape and try to make the most out of it. Yeah, but apparently it is not the right approach to do this. Like you play solidly, and then once you consolidate your lead, and then you take the victory, and then you go home. Yeah, this is how probably if next time. Yeah. It's still a bother. Yeah, sometimes it is, but overall okay. I mean, the quality of my games was all right. So it hurts, but I'll get over it definitely, and then try to produce. And anyway, I had the idea to play good games here, so I'll get over it definitely, and then try to approach it more balancedly next time. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you were talking about your weakness in the opening, at least compared to other players. So, like, what was your plan on, like, how did you plan to improve your openings exactly?
To be honest, actually, I was working on openings, but not very. I should say it was not very systematic. Yeah, and in my real breakthrough in openings came probably I should say around 2011 or so, 11 or 12, I think probably. This was after I started working with Chuchelov. Yeah. and his approach to openings was like more, I should say, more systematic. And he put me into, to working into building my repertoire in a proper way. Yeah. So let's say I started playing chess in what 1990, and then only by 2012, after 22 years of playing, that I had managed to build something that is resembling a good repertoire. Yeah. So it took me a while, like, okay, I mean, once he taught this, and then probably after 3-4 years, it's still, but opening problems is ongoing. Yeah. You cannot really, like solve every problem that is coming here you have to keep working at it. You have to keep updating every stuff. Like, okay, I mean, even if you build a reporter, you have to keep updating this stuff, and then see what is going on around, like what the top players are playing. And it's more like an approach, like what the top players are aiming at. Yeah, that is the most relevant thing that he taught me. Yeah. For instance, if somebody is entering this variation at some point, you need to know, like, I mean, you need to check what the top player intended if the opponent had played completely correctly. For instance, where he was intending to go. Yeah. So that kind of approach, I think it started around 2012, and then I mean, basically it started with the work with Chuchelov. Where he was always looking for ways, like why somebody is doing this. I never bothered to, until that time, I never really bothered to, I used to check the games of top players, but then never had this kind of idea, like why somebody is going here. Yeah. So trying to understand the person's idea behind choosing one variation over the other. Yeah. It was quite a different approach. Yeah. And that's how slowly it started to build. Yeah. And also by 2013, I started to play correspondence chess. And correspondence chess, it's also, in my opinion, I think it's a good practice for the practical player, yeah, or the tournament board player, yeah, because correspondence chess, one of the main ideas is to have, before you go into some line, yeah, you need to have some kind of overall idea about how the variation is doing, and then where exactly you want to go. Yeah. I mean, the game normally takes about 2 to 3 years to finish. And before you are entering the variation, you have to like have a proper idea where it is going to lead. Yeah, like you have to check many things around. And I think it was I think correspondence chess helped my OTB like chess. Yeah. So you have to, this building this opening reported is a constant ongoing process. You cannot really, put like, okay, now I have built something that is a bulletproof kind of thing. Yeah. It keeps growing. Yeah. And you need to keep working on it almost every day to update a lot of things. And say like not only keep updating, and to have keep refreshing this stuff. Yeah. So that when you get to play the actual tournament, and it's also a good idea that before the tournament, you just spend some time refreshing your notes. Yeah. Like, okay, I mean, whatever you built on, yeah, this stuff, you refresh your notes so that, you refresh your memory. And that's how you go about it. Like, okay, openings is an important part, because once you get a decent opening, then you can have playing I mean, like a good middle game and so on. Yeah. But studying opening is okay. This finding that this top players where they want to go, that was one thing. And also opening is connected with the middle game plan. Yeah. In general, you have to study openings by studying what plan is going to come next. Yeah. Say you're studying something, and then at some point you have to choose a plan to proceed further. Yeah. So this opening and middle game is connected. So when one is studying openings, you always consider studying it with plans, like what will be the plan next year. And still, even to this day, I study openings over the board. Yeah, no, not direct on the computer. Yeah, it is. It's a one practice that I find it's very. What should I say? Like, maybe it's old times, but I mean old school practice. But I find it's quite easier for me to remember over the board. Like because when you're studying openings, there is always this possibility that at some point there is like 5 moves, which is giving the computer is giving 0.00, but maybe only one or two moves that you feel like playing. Yeah, even if it's 0.00, there is always one move that you feel like playing. Yeah. So when you're looking at the position and thinking for yourself, yeah, you choose this move, and then you see that whether this direction you like it or not when you're analyzing in the computer. Yeah. So yeah, so basically, like still old school, moving the pieces around and feeling that board is more relevant. Yeah, I feel. But everybody has their own this thing. Like some people, they can simply work with the computer and it works for them. Yeah, so you have to decide what is good for you. Yeah, let's say if you can directly see from the computer and understand the computer's moves, well and good. But if you don't understand the computer's moves, it's better to do it with the board and then see that how the move feels for yourself over the board. Yeah.
Yeah, sir, but how does it work? Like, first you try to analyze it without an engine, and then you check it with an engine, or how does it work
Yeah,
exactly?
that is a standard process. Yeah, let's say I keep the moves on the board, and then and I am thinking for myself, like, let's say checking a few games, like what top players play and then what is happening in correspondence. When you're building a reporter, there's a lot of stuff to go through. Yeah, like, okay, I mean, what exactly you're looking for. Yeah. And I think it's also Chuchelov taught me also another important idea that you should always look from the white side of things. Yeah, it's a very interesting approach. Yeah, when you always see from the white side, you're trying to prove an advantage. Yeah, and then let's say you find that you tried various ideas for white, and then you don't find any advantage for white. Then you start playing that opening with black. Yeah. So it is like it's a very interesting way to build a report area. But some people simply feel that some of the openings that they suits their style. Yeah. For instance, let's say Dubov. Yeah. For now, he's playing this Tarash defense. Yeah. In general, I find Dubo is kind of very aggressive style. Yeah, he plays very sharp stuff and so on. Yeah, so this Tarash is like you have free pieces, and then maybe probably you have isolated pawn, but the pieces are like very free. Yeah, so it probably suits his style. He also plays this stuff with he beat Magnus with this what is this Philidor. So I mean, it is probably not the right opening. I mean, according to the computer, computer shows plus minus most of the time, but it suits his style. Yeah, so these things also count. Yeah, if somebody likes some kind of positions. Yeah, and then you try to make it work. Like, okay, I mean, as with the help of the computer, you try to make it work with the best way possible. Yeah, you probably understand it's plus minus, but sometimes these plus minus may not mean much to when it comes to opening preparation. If you feel like you had let's say if you have handle the position, you know the position. For instance, this Breyer, I played the Breyer for quite some time. Yeah, until I started to experience some serious problems. Like, okay, I mean, I understood it was slightly worse for black all the time, but Brayer, I understood the positions better, the plans that were better, and then I was playing very quickly as well. Yeah. So in fact, I managed to beat some strong players. I think Almasi I beat once. Yeah. And also I think I drew with Swidler once. Yeah. So some I had some good games, but eventually I landed into problems. Yeah. I think once I lost one game against Rajabo. Yeah. I found it very difficult to equalize. Yeah. So some things, okay. I mean, you have to understand these things, how what you have to build. Yeah, like opening reporter is also made on style. It's also made. These things is more like an individual choice. Every player chooses their own. Yeah, it's never. You cannot have a general recipe for everyone. Yeah, they have to make their own choices. Yeah.
And sir, like there are so many good openings, like Najrov is there, and in E4 E5 there is Marshall, Berlin, and so much. Like how to choose a perfect opening for oneself?
That's what it's not a perfect opening, but generally I would say that if you base your let's say openings on correspondence games, mostly it is bound to be more or less all right. Yeah, because all these correspondence games, they spend a lot of time on their I mean, they let their computer work it out, like what is the good openings and so on. So if you're building your repertoire from correspondence games, it's generally bound to be more or less sound. Yeah, not you see that I mean, there are still games played in the French defense in correspondence, but on the statistical level, you see that the games in French are going down. Yeah, less players are playing in French nowadays in correspondence. Yeah, it is not like before. Yeah, I mean, black players have lost a lot of games, and I mean, what can I say? It is up to you to find. There are okay, Berlin. These things are generally doing very well in correspondence, like Berlin, Marshall. All these lines are generally doing quite well. Yeah. So if you can, it is an idea. Like, okay, I mean, if for instance, it is an idea. And Sveshnikov is doing really well, yes. And Magnus is playing Sveshnikov throughout, yeah. And it's also doing very well in correspondence as well, yeah. So it is there's an idea that, okay, I mean, building your repertoire from last year, I think I read an interview by Wang Hao, yeah. He beat Anand in the Isle of Man tournament. He eventually won the tournament, yeah. So he beat Anand in the tournament, and then he mentioned that his preparation was mostly based on correspondence games, yeah, from the Petrov, yeah. So I think the top players are mostly following correspondence chess, yeah, a lot, yeah. And I think it was this game. I think it was Aronian Kramnik, yeah. I think where Kramnik came up with this Rook G8 and G5, G4, yeah. So this was also, I think, played previously in correspondence, yeah. I would say it's impossible not to you cannot overlook correspondence games and build your opening repertoire at all. You have to see what is going on in correspondence games, yeah.
And there are also, like, some people play a lot of sidelines, for example Richard Rapport or Jobava. And what is your opinion on that? And also, like, one of my friend attended your ONGC camp, and you advised him to play main lines instead of playing sidelines.
Yeah, it is I mean, see, sidelines, the problem is if it's fundamentally unsound, yeah, it is very difficult for you to make this work, yeah. I have had many, I mean, like there is something that is fundamentally unsound. You have to spend a lot of time trying to make it work. Like, for instance, in many areas, let's say there will be like 5-6 alternatives, which is always giving some kind of slight advantage to your opponent. Yeah, and then for each alternative you have to find like a different way, a very concrete way to make it work. Yeah, so that kind of work is very difficult, first of all, like unless you know, like you really want to it is much more easier to play something that is fundamentally sound, and then find an idea that is, you know, go a little bit deeper. Yeah, I was only telling this because it makes work a little bit easier. Like when you're working openings, work will be much easier life. Yeah, and like this trying to make something that is fundamentally unsound, your work will be very difficult, first of all. And then even if it's like this, there will always be some kind of area where there will be a small problem. Like you might find that 5-6 line it is unsound, like the position is unsound, but you have to find some concrete ways, and there will be a 7th or 8th way, which will still give you a slightly worse position, and then you have to defend it unpleasant. Like over the board also it could be unpleasant. Yeah. So in general, I think everybody should choose, you know, like a line that is fundamentally sound, and try to build on it. Yeah, properly build around it, like to understand the middle game plans, and then to see what kinds of positions it's leading to, and then if they like those kind of positions and so on. Yeah.
And there was an audience question from Tanmay Srinath. He was asking, like, you started by playing 1d4 setups, but usually, like, when you are starting, people recommend e4 setups. So what was the reason behind choosing d4 setup?
I think it was chosen by my father. Yeah, he had more. I don't know. It is very hard to say. But by 2002, I already had this idea that I should start expanding on e4. Yeah, d4 generally leads to more kind of a little bit of closed positions, and then it opens up a little bit later on. Yeah, whereas e4 is more like a direct inviting a direct fight. Yeah. And for a guy who's like based his openings on this what can I say, like most on strategies. Yeah, I mean, I was taught minority attack before I was start openings. Yeah, so this was how it was. So, you know, you have this pawns on, let's say, a2 and b2, yeah, and then opponent is having pawns on a7, b7, c6, and d5. Then you play b4, b5, and then create a weakness on c6, and then you attack this. And this. So for me, this was taught before I learned openings. Yeah. So it was natural for me to start playing closed openings. I mean, my father felt like, okay, I mean, this is much more easier in the way, like when you're starting out. Yeah, if you have mostly he was teaching me strategy from all the champions games, and so it was the easier way to start. Yeah, because e4 involved a lot of specific work where you have to have a lot of memory and so on. Yeah. And he was not entirely wanting to start putting pressure on memory. Yeah, he wanted to build a more solid foundation on middle game. Yeah, so that's why I think my dad started with d4 first. Yeah, and eventually it became clear to me that I had to start playing e4 as well. Yeah. And okay, if you're playing both the openings, and then it normally involves a lot of work and then a lot of memory as well. I mean, you have to remember so many things and so on. Yeah, but I think it's possible. Yeah, you can still mix it, and if you're willing to work more. Yeah, and so that puts us like back to the question that you spend more time at home rather than playing so many events. Yeah, so it it's all coming together. Yeah, like for instance, okay, so d4 was at the time it was I think uh, um, Karpov was switching to d4 as well. Yeah, so at that point, yeah, like I think after this matches with Kasparov by 1990 end, I think he was more or less switching to d4 completely. Yeah, I mean, even I think after 19 in this first match, he more or less switched to d4. Yeah, so that could also be a reason, because I was also playing this Zaitsev with black. Yeah, at that point, which was one of Karpov's favorite. Yeah, so maybe it is probably an influence from Karpov as well. Yeah, so I mean, he switched to d4. Yeah, so probably my father was influenced by Karpov's openings as well, so he probably chose d4 at that point. Yeah.
And so there are also this opening books and also opening databases online. For example, Negi has written one E4 repertoire for quality chess, and there are like websites like Modern Chess and so on. So while preparing, do you also consider those things, like people write?
Definitely, 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 because opening is basically a research work. So you have to have whatever sources is available to you. Yeah, but the thing is, like, no, Negi has been like a professional player, and you understand that the amount of work he has put in this book. Yeah, it's very much like I mean, it's a huge work. Yeah, and also so much. Yeah, I think this trend was started by Avruk, yeah, in his first this book with reported with the D4, yeah. I mean, I started working. I mean, this 2010. I think probably around the time he probably doing. It was a very serious work, yeah. Like, okay, I mean, you have to cover so much, yeah. I mean, that's how you start building a report area. You have to. You have to see all the resources, like, okay, I mean, whatever I mean sources you have available, yeah, that you have to check. But the opening report here, as actual opening report here, you cannot take us directly from them. Yeah, you have to see what you have to work it out yourself. Yeah, this is most important for improving players, because the player might be now, you know, consulting engines and so on, but once you have the position on the board, yeah, then if you don't feel like what is going to happen next, like what the position, if you're not feeling the position afterwards, like you just take the position and then you come to the board armed with the opening, and then you go to the board and then you get the position. But then if you don't feel the position, or you don't feel something is right about the position during when you're playing, then it can actually backfire. Yeah, so you have to build the opening report here based on your preference. It is most important for all young players. Yeah, you have to always build whatever you feel like. Yeah, this is actually one of the reasons I still do it, like over the board. Yeah, I just know what my preference. Yeah, like when I'm seeing over the board, I feel my preference, and then I try to build it along with my preference. Yeah, like if say 5 lines 0.00, two moves I like, I take those two moves and then, you know, try to build along with it. Yeah, so that I'll remember, like, this was my choice before. Yeah, and then it's up to you. Like, okay, if you feel some people feel that sometimes it's necessary to, I mean, it can even play something that is totally computerish. You just memorize everything, and then if it works, yeah, let's say if it works for you, I mean, for instance, say they're mostly going for one game ideas, and then if it works, so you have to make some kind of balance. Yeah, let's say sometimes you should use one game ideas and then just move on to other stuff. Sometimes it's fundamentally you should play some principled stuff where you know where you have more depth and so on. Yeah.
And sir, like you are talking about correspondence chess. You are a senior international master. You got the senior international title in correspondence. So when exactly did you decide to start correspondence chess? Did anyone like suggest you to start correspondence chess or something?
Not really, just actually happened by accident. Yeah, this I think um, by 2013 end, I think. Yeah, I mean this. There was this match in Chennai. Yeah, Anand against Carlsen. Yeah. So I was helping Anand for that match, and after the end of the match, this was quite tough period. Yeah, so I decided not to play at that time. Yeah, I mean, I decided not to play for a while, in the sense like the match was very tough. Yeah, and the seconds were working almost like every day, almost 16 to 17 hours, maybe sometimes even more. Yeah, 18 hours even sometimes, getting very little sleep. And this happened continuously for a month. Yeah, so it was very difficult to work. Yeah, so I think it was a practical decision for me not to play afterwards. But it so happened I did not get any proper tournaments in the immediately to follow. Yeah, so I decided to sit out for some time, and then during this period, I thought maybe I should, get an idea of correspondence chess. Like, okay, so that's when I started playing correspondence. Yeah. Uh, it's I think it is I mean, in my very I like playing correspondence. Yeah, it is you have to check a lot of stuff, like what is going on around and so on. Yeah, it is I think it helps. Yeah, it's an individual preference. Yeah, some people feel that it might be, like additional work for the tournament player. Quite possible. Yeah, but this is just an individual choice. Yeah.
And sir, like at your level, like people use cloud engines, or do they build their own personal like supercomputer, or very strong computer?
It's a question, like, okay, I mean, if you have the resources, then you can have your own engine, but if you don't have resources, then cloud engine is fine too. So it is up to the nowadays. Okay, that it is many things have changed. Yeah, this neural network stuff and so on. Yeah, and a computer armed with a strong graphics card is actually producing a good analysis. Yeah, but I would still suggest, like, whatever this I mean, even if you build something, or let's say you're using cloud or something, I would recommend that the players use their own brain, at least first few moments, to have look at the position at the board with your own eyes, and then check what the computer is saying. Yeah, so that you get to feel the position. I think it is more important, especially to understand what is going on. Yeah, not necessary to memorize so much of stuff. At least, like, to understand what is going on, and then it is much easier during tournament play if you get the same position on the board. Yeah.
And sir, logically in correspondence chess, like both players use engine, and like logically speaking, it should end in a draw. But sometimes some player wins. So how is that possible? Like,
There is always a question of making choice. Yeah. So I think this is quite, but it happens. Yeah. Like, for instance, engines still have some problems. There is, for instance, I won a recent game, and in one of the lines against Sveshnikov. Yeah. At some point, there was a position where my opponent had a weakness on, I think, somewhere in the, probably in the center. But then my king was also on, both the kings were on the king side. Yeah. And as a human, and then the coincide was completely fixed in my favor. Like, okay, I had a pawn on a5, and then he had a pawn on a6 and b7. So whenever if he tries to open the queen side, this side I had a pawn structure with b3, c2, and d3, and then this pawn structure was very nice for me. He had a weakness on c5 and e5, I think, yeah, probably. So this I had a rook on c4 attacking this c5 weakness, and whenever if he tries to open b5, I just take a b6, and then his pawn structure on the queen side is completely collapsing. Yeah. So for a human, for me, like, it is easy to understand that once I put my king on the queen side, the king side becomes, I can still start to make some active operations on the king side. Yeah. In fact, when I moved my king to g1 to b2, and then I opened the king side with g4, and I managed to create more weaknesses on the king side of my opponent, and then basically entered through the H file, and then it was big problems for him. Yeah. So that kind of stuff is still not within, like, what can I say? The computers can only see so much. Yeah. Like, okay. And these decisions and all, it was easy for me to understand. Like, over the board, only I have to check for some, let's say, I mean, when I was moving my king towards the queen side, I only had to check that my opponent does not get one e4 break. Yeah. I mean, as a player, okay, I understand these things, like, okay, but for a computer, okay, I mean, it is always calculating and so on. Yeah. Like, it's this strategy thing is still somewhat, I mean, computers are improving every day. I cannot say that, like, I mean, every day they're improving, but still some areas are quite difficult for computers to understand. Yeah. I mean, strategically, still some areas are there. It's not like totally hopeless for the humans. Yeah. So I guess that makes some difference. Yeah. And this material imbalances still, it's still an area where computers are, I mean, still there. I should say that they are improving, but I remember one of the correspondence games I won, I had a pawn on, I think, h6 and g7. Yeah. And then my opponent's king was on g8. Yeah. And the computer was saying 0.00 for quite some time. Yeah. I mean, for both sides. Yeah. But eventually I had sacrificed my queen to get into that position. In fact, I had only rook and bishop for the queen. But this pawn on h6 and g7 is so strong that once I maneuver my rook and bishop around, the queen cannot compete against rook and bishop. Yeah. So these kind of things where is still there are some areas that computers have to, what can I say, distant vision. Yeah, that kind of is still lacking. Yeah. So that's how, there is always some kind of, for instance, some people say that when thinking that 0.00, they go into a certain line, and the end of the line, some small move makes a small difference, and then the whole evaluation will change. Yeah. So that's how correspondence games are won. Yeah. But sometimes people simply play bad lines. Yeah. That also happens in correspondence. Yeah. They simply play bad lines, and then just because they want to follow their own taste. Yeah.
Yes.
And then they simply play sometimes they simply choose some bad lines. I was mentioning about this French defense. Yeah, the supporters of French is slowly declining in correspondence. Yeah, I think French supporters have lost quite a lot of games in correspondence. Yeah.
So, but okay, recently there was a Chessable course by Anish Giri, and he was recommending the French defense.
Yeah.
So, like, generally, you were saying that French defense is declining. So, does that mean that, okay, that course is not recommended to play?
No, that is a different thing. Like, see, there is a big difference between correspondence French and over the board French. Yeah, French is. I mean, I myself played French sometime in a tournament. Yeah, so it is not like. Actually, I even played in correspondence. Yeah, so it is not. You have to. This is a kind of a choice. Yeah. Let's say, I mean, somebody plays French against a very good prepared player. Let's say against Washer or somebody. He's having some kind of problems. Yeah, like, okay. In generally, a top player is able to pose more problems against the French. Yeah. That's what I don't know what this lecture was aimed against. Like if it's aimed against, let's say, club level players, yeah, the French could still work, yeah, very much.
Yes,
So you have to see also see I mean any kind of lecture book or whatever it is, you have to also approach it with kind of caution, yeah, for whom this book was written or whom this video was made about, yeah, like okay, who what is the target audience and so on, yeah.
and sir, like, how do you face like opening surprises? Like nowadays, people are having a lot of strong engines, and let's say you get surprised in the opening in a like over the board game. So how do you deal with that? Like, do you
It's not.
regret?
It's a very it's a, no. It's a very unpleasant feeling. Yeah, and sometimes get into something that is really nasty. Yeah, it is a very unpleasant feeling. But I try to make the best of the situation over the board. Yeah, it could be if you get caught in something. Yeah, it could be really nasty. Yeah. But it is also depends upon how okay, so you get into something that you realize that you have been caught, yeah. So try to play the best moves as much as possible, and the one thing that you should avoid is time trouble, yeah, because your opponent has prepared so much, yeah. You should also try to play a little bit quicker, yeah, and hopefully in the the conversion might be a bit difficult, yeah. Not too fast so that you make your portion worse and land in more difficulties, but to play reasonably fast so that you have enough time to have to solve problems later on also, yeah, not to land yourself in time trouble, yeah. No, this happens to everybody. It's not like that it happens to one person or so. It happens to everybody. Sometimes you get caught somewhere, yeah, it just happens. But try not to get into time trouble afterwards. Like even if you fall into something, then you should try to keep enough time as possible, to to solve problems that actually arise later on, yeah.
And sir, like one of my friend Grandmaster Swapnil Dopade, like once told me a story that once when he was staying with you in I think Olympiad, I'm not sure where, but he was telling me that you used to work for 2 hours and then take a 15-minute break and then work again for 2 hours. Was it inspired by deep work or or do you work generally?
Well, it is. I generally it's even at home also it is more or less the same idea. Yeah, like you feel that you're concentrated very well. Yeah, at some point, and then it is a certain awareness about work. Like for instance, when you're in very good shape and then moves are just coming to you. Yeah, then you're not going to let go of that momentum. Yeah, but after some time, like you feel a little bit stiff, and then. Let's say okay, and then you're mostly looking at the engine, yeah, for moves, yeah, then you feel okay, your mind is kind of tired, yeah, then you go to have a little bit break, maybe get some coffee and then maybe a snack or something, and then you come back to have a fresh look at the position. I have the idea that when whatever if work you're doing at home, yeah, that should be more from my mind, yeah, not just hitting spacebar kind of thing, yeah. So I feel that you should always work with your own mind, and this break helps, yeah, most of the time. Like you stretch your legs and then maybe get some this nice coffee and maybe I don't know something else, probably just some juice or something, just to especially if you're working in AC, then you're dehydrating a lot, yeah, you probably don't know that, but so yeah, just to get some water or something, just to have a little bit of break, yeah. Sometimes even a little bit walk outside if it's possible. Now it's a difficult situation, but sometimes just to go out for a walk and then get some fresh air and then come back. Well, just it's for humans, it's okay, computers, they can work all the time, but for humans you still getting tired, yeah, so after some time, so you have to have a little bit of break, maybe stretch a little bit, because you're always sitting in one position and then not straight. Your neck is paining. So many other things. Yeah, it makes sense to take a break once in a while. But while working, you're mostly concentrated on the work. Yeah, so I think it's also scientifically recommended. Yeah, like you break for a short break and then you can come back. Yeah.
Yeah, and some people also do like multitasking. Like at one point, they put a movie or some YouTube video, and in the side they prepare openings or something. Like what do?
That is not for me, and not for me. If I'm working, I'm working just without. I don't know. It is sometimes good music could be, but definitely not something visual. Yeah, like video is totally off the question. Yeah. I mean, if you can, let's say something, that song you can hear, like something that is pleasant. There are a lot of music to improve concentration. Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of instrumental music to improve concentration. Yeah, that kind of music I would actually recommend. Like, okay, if you want to, mostly it will be very mild, like not jarring music. It is very mild. It is supposed to put you in a restful state where your mind can work to the full. Yeah. The video kind of it is definitely I would not recommend. Yeah, I mean, you cannot really do that kind of serious work with some video running in front of you. Yeah, it's impossible for me, at least.
And also this kind of like severe preparation, I read that Botvinnik was doing this a lot during his world championship matches and so on. Like he used to work exactly a specific time and then take a break. And also there was like severe training methods, like he used to tell his seconds to smoke on him in order to get used to the distraction.
That is okay. I mean, we was world champion for quite a long time. Yeah, and I I also studied his books as well. Yeah, he himself wrote the notes on his best games. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
100
think there
selected
were
games.
100. There are two books here. I think there was also there was one early book where he wrote before the World Championship, like his games, and then there was also, I think there was one book with a black cover. Yeah, so I think this was the 100 selected games, probably. Yeah. I mean, I mean, myself and my dad, we did study these books. Yeah. So, I mean, most of the, this, also this D4 openings. Yeah. This line I was mentioning about this game. Yeah. Botvinnik Capablanca. Yeah.
Yeah.
This line, he used to
Rubinstein
mention a
Samish.
lot of, yeah, Rubinstein Samish. Yeah. This was, this he used to call this midnight oil variation. Yeah, a lot of work analysis has gone into this system and so on. Yeah. No, okay. I guess that you have to have some kind of discipline. Yeah. This okay. Botvinnik is the kind of champion who was on the other extreme, like you. But I've worked closely with Anand. Yeah, so I mean, I've helped him for the World Championship. I've seen one of the most disciplined, like, I mean, work-wise, you see that he was one of the most disciplined, like most of the time working, and only breaking when it's really necessary and so on. Yeah, so you. I don't know. I mean, in order to become a top player, like you have to. I think Kramnik quit smoking. Yeah, for the World Championship. Yeah, and then he started to swim for physical fitness and so on. Yeah, so I mean, the discipline has to be. I mean, for every individual to improve, the discipline has to come from them. Yeah, I mean, it can never be taught. Yeah, I mean, people around them can only give only some kind of limited amount of advice. Yeah, but the individual themselves have to feel the discipline needed to improve themselves. Yeah, it's never what can I say, like, okay, I mean, this is I mean, this Botvinnik were like, okay, I mean, very extreme. but it had a point, like, okay, that time people are allowed to smoke, yeah, so he used to get used to this tough situations at home so that he can play very well at the board, yeah. So it's one of mental preparation and physical preparation. I mean, he used to ski, yeah, if I remember correctly, yeah. Botvinnik used to ski, yeah, and for physical preparation, yeah. I mean, I think he wrote about his methods in the book as well, yeah. So it was also a very good starting point, yeah, like for other players to how to go about approach the. And I think Botany recommended only some 6 or 7 tournaments per year, yeah, and most of the time was spent on working on chess, yeah, yeah.
And sir, like you were mentioning about this, like you were acting as a second for Anand in his World Championship match. So generally, what was the general work you used to do as a second?
Second, okay, I mean, it's more like mostly opening work. So there will always be some problem areas everywhere. Like when you're trying to build some kind of report area, there will always be some kind of areas that uh, the 2013 World Championship, I first worked for him like as a second, yeah. So this that time I was quite inexperienced, and I wanted to have the experience of working as a second for the World Championship, yeah. So which is why it was I mean, I kind of agreed to work, yeah. So this it's a very good experience, like first of all, working alongside Anand, and how he works, and like the discipline, and the choice, and so on, yeah. Many things, yeah. Like, I mean, the opening choice, the okay, what can we say? That the match didn't go too well for Anand, but overall for me, I learned a lot of things about preparation in general, like how they're building reporters and so on. Yeah, like, and uh, uh, during the match, it was very stressful. You're working like more time, like 17 to 18 hours every day, yeah, and only breaking for lunch, dinner, and so on, yeah. And maybe some physical fitness also, yeah. Getting what can I say? Like this working as a second, it's a difficult task for anybody who knows, like who know you, who helped player, yeah. You have to always look for problems, yeah. There is always be problems, and then you have to keep solving this problems, and then once you made some kind of conclusion, yeah, and then you pass it on to the player, like and there is always a question that whatever conclusions you make, yeah, like you work with the engine, and then you kind of make some kind of conclusion, you also have to keep it in mind that that the player likes the solution. For instance, you find there is a problem somewhere, and then you make some kind of analysis, and then you give it to the player, and then if the player does not like it, so it becomes I mean, the solution may be possible, like, okay, I mean, there is this solution may be quite possible, but if the player does not like something about the solution, let's say this, it's, let's say, too concrete, and then there are some fundamental issues and so on, yeah. So then it becomes a real difficulty, yeah. So always you're when you're working as a second, you're always thinking about your player, the one you're helping, and also that of your opponent, yeah. For instance, the position, the computer might say that it's 0.00, but if your opponent is, let's say, going to try to grind you down with end games, yeah, then you have to make not go into that kind of situation. Yeah, let's say where the position is just equal, but your opponent is trying to wear you down. Yeah. So I mean, it was this background, like, okay, I mean, mostly it was when I was working, at least, like, okay, I mean, basically I helped for Anand this 2 matches in 2013 and 14. Yeah. When I was working, I was trying to, to have both players' styles in mind, and then trying to, avoid variations, where I thought maybe Magnus had, I mean, like some kind of, what can I say, stylishly, if he had some kind of advantage. Yeah. For instance, uh, uh, at least consciously, I was trying to avoid this technically dry positions where the computer is saying equal, but the play simply goes on. Yeah, like, okay, I mean, there were some plays going on, but the computer is only saying 0.00, unless like there is some kind of direct plan kind of thing to make a draw or this kind of things. Yeah. But okay, I mean, it was a very good, valuable learning experience for me, working both these matches. Yeah. And also I taught a lot of things about myself. Yeah, like, okay, I mean, how I'm thinking, and how I should change the thinking when it comes to working for a world championship and so on. Yeah, it taught me a lot. Yeah. I am just I mean, I only hope that it could have gone better in the second match. Yeah, the this 2014 one. Yeah, I mean, it was quite close, but somehow Magnus managed to pull ahead later on. Yeah, so overall, it was a very positive experience for me working with Anand and all the other seconds. Yeah.
And sir, in 2007, for the first time, like after Anand, you are the second person to cross 2700. So, like before the tournament, were you aware of the rating thing, like that if you had the chance to cross 2700, and what was going on in your mind?
That was it was not in my mind at all. Yeah, it was. I think this was happened before Asian.
Team championship thing?
No, not Asian team. It was one of the first times it was in Asian team, but it was also part of the Asian Games. Yeah, 2006. Yeah, so we were kind of very happy that chess was included in the Asian Games at the time in 2006. Yeah, first time, I think. And there was a camp in Chennai for the players, myself, Hari Krishna, Hampi, and we are all working with Lev Sakis. And during this training camp, we did manage to find an idea in one of this English setups. Yeah. And I was quite happy that I managed to use this idea against Bu Jiangji of China, and then I beat him with the black pieces. Yeah. So I think this was one of the very crucial games. Like, okay, I mean, China and India, I think at that point we were like, what to say, we think we already beaten all the opponents, and then we were facing each other, and I think roughly it was on the seventh or sixth round, I think. Yeah, probably. So I think this was no, fifth round probably. Yeah, it was fifth round. Yeah, so we had won like 4 games each, and then the China was facing India. Yeah, and I think we had 2 blacks. Yeah, like there are only 3 boards, 2 men boards and 1 woman board. So we had 2 blacks, and I think we managed to win all 3 games. Yeah, it was a very good result, and afterwards I think it was very smooth sailing for us. Yeah. And this camp, we were working very, very well. Like, okay, I mean, there's a lot of work on openings and so on, and also a lot of puzzles during the camp. Yeah, like we were trying to be in good shape before this thing. At the time I was like 2675 in rating. Yeah. So after this tournament, I managed, I think, probably somewhere around 8 out of 9. Yeah. So in the Asian games. Yeah. And then I crossed 2700. Yeah. After 2006. Yeah. Okay. What can I say? This a lot of things came together. Like myself and Hari, we used to uh, you know do physical training in the evening. We used to go for a run in the evening. We generally discussed a lot, like about what's going on. And during the tournament, we were working as well. Yeah. Before the tournament, we were working, and also during the tournament, also we were working as well. Yeah. So I mean, every day during the night, we three would sit together and then discuss the next day's strategy, discuss openings, and so on. Yeah. In general, I think the team atmosphere was very well. Yeah, at the time. Yeah, like and also at the time, the climate outside in Doha, yeah, it was very pleasant. It was December, I think, and the climate, you could always go for it was mildly chilly, and then you could always go for a run, and you could always go for a walk. And I think one of the fantastic organization, also because it was part of Asian Games. Yeah, it was a main tournament, and I mean, so many things came our way at that time. Yeah. And there was only one incident I was but not too happy about. Like, okay, I mean, there was an invitation from the Indian embassy in Qatar. Yeah. And the next day we had a very important game. Yeah. And I had to reject this invitation because of this game was going on. Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, eventually this turned out to be a good decision that I did not go to this, but obviously I kind of little bit, I mean, unhappy that, okay, I mean, you don't normally get an invitation from the ambassador to Qatar, and then, okay, you kind of say, but what happens sometimes, you have to prioritize things. Yeah. So, I mean, since we won gold medal for the country, yeah, so everything is all right. Yeah. So this, but okay, I mean, I think it also showed the kind of support the people outside India were providing to the Indians, especially when it comes to this Asian Games. Yeah, it was so nice of them. Like, I mean, whenever, like, there is a, and when we won the gold medal, like there are so many people congratulating. Like, okay, I mean, probably from sports side that we don't even know. Like, okay, so many, for instance, people from, I don't know, maybe there were some people from Sepak Takraw, I don't know, they were also congratulating us. Like, okay, I mean, so many people with the, like, gold for India is always a huge thing. Yeah. And it felt really good. Yeah, this tournament. Yeah. Okay, this rating, of course, it all came down later, and I got a few invitations after I crossed 2700. Yeah, like I got to play in this M-tel Sofia Masters. Yeah, this was held in Bulgaria. Yeah. And okay, I guess I mean, that is one of the main things about this ratings. You get invitations for many strong events. Yeah. So M-tel was one of my also the same issue. Yeah, like I was actually I was leading throughout, and then only the last round loss against Topalov, I came second. Yeah. I mean, if I had a draw at some point, I missed the draw. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I mean, this kind of,
yeah, I wanted to ask you
yeah,
about
I
that
mean,
game. Before the game, how did you approach against Topalov? Like, you were leading, and okay, you just needed a
yeah,
draw.
but I just need a draw, but I was playing black. Yeah. And I chose the Nims of Indian. I think it was a good choice, but there was some kind of pressure, yeah, all the time. Like, okay, I mean, there was a lot of pressure, but at some point he sacrificed a piece. I have to find at some point one Queen D4, yeah. Like this piece sacrifice was very interesting, yeah, and I had to find one accurate move in time trouble, yeah. And if I had found it, I would have had the draw, yeah, and then probably winning the tournament, yeah. I missed this move, and then he beat me, and he won the tournament, yeah. What can I say? I mean, sometimes you miss your chances, and still, overall, I was happy that I played the tournament well. But a tournament win is a tournament win, yeah. That it will eventually add loads to your confidence, yeah. So you have to, like, okay, I mean, first of all, getting to play a strong tournament is one thing, and then when you play a strong tournament, you also have to build a correct approach, yeah. It takes time, yeah, and this in this area, I think the European players are having a big advantage because they get to play a lot of close tournaments, yeah, and the Asians are a bit at a huge disadvantage because there are not much close tournaments in Asia, yeah. I mean, you kind of approach the more tournament in much more balanced way, yeah. I think it's just part of the learning process, yeah. I mean, well, what can I say? So many missed opportunities, yeah, and still learning, yeah. What to say? That's how to conclude, yeah.
Yeah. And sir, how do you generally celebrate your tournament victory or generally achieving a milestone? How do you celebrate?
Celebration is very. It's not part of my character. Yeah, it's not okay. Celebration sometimes, yeah. Like, okay, I mean, if you maybe go to a restaurant, or probably that is the maximum amount of celebration I spend. Yeah. It is more like when I achieve something that is we just go to a restaurant, perhaps maybe some with friends and relatives, and provide a treat or something. That is the maximum amount of celebration for me. Yeah. Eventually, I come to realize, even after having a good tournament, there are still a lot of problems. Yeah, like, okay, I mean, you have to solve still a lot of opening problems, if at all, maybe some other problems, middle game problems, end game problems, so many things to solve. Yeah. So eventually I'll return back to normal working mode. Yeah. Maybe, I mean, I'll probably let the results soak in for 2-3 days. Like, okay, I mean, not do anything much, just try to relax. But eventually, I cannot really stop working. Yeah, so the work mode has to come on. Yeah.
Yeah. And sir, like in 2002, I think maybe at the age of 21 or 22, you got Arjuna Award, which is like, for an Indian, it's one of the prestigious awards, especially for a sports person. So how did you feel after like getting Arjuna Award?
No, this was very very nice, and also I was very happy that I got it from our rocket sciences Abdul Kalam sir. Yeah, it was. I mean, those things, when if you can freeze in the time, then I would definitely do so. Yeah, it is one thing that we'll never forget. Yeah. It is also interesting that I got from a person who is also from my very own state. Yeah, we both from Tamil Nadu. Yeah, so that also feels a little bit special. Yeah. Well, what can I say? That is one dream moment for me. Yeah, just getting it from Abdul Kalam sir. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir. And sir, like, you have won many tournaments like in your career. Like, what do you think is the most special tournament win for you so far?
I think this Asian Games 2006 was very special. Yeah, because And I have many events. I think 2006 also. I think I tied for first in Aeroflot, although I was fourth on tiebreak, I think. But this was also all right. Many interesting. But this Asian Games would definitely be the one of the best. And if I have to check. Um, this Olympiad, that was also a special moment. Yeah, 2014 in Tromso. Yeah, cannot really. It was a very special moment for all Indians. Yeah, I mean, for the first time, the Indian team has managed to win a bronze. Yeah, in a in a proper tournament. Like, okay, I mean, in the sense that we've never managed to win a medal before in the Olympiads. Yeah. I mean, we came very close. Like Asian, we had won many times, but never a medal in the Olympiad. So in 2014, it happened first. Yeah. So that is one special moment. Yeah. Like always. Yeah. So, I mean, what can I say? It's also one of my dreams to win a gold medal for our country in the Olympiad. But let's see, it's made. And I mean, I should also congratulate our teammates who won gold medal in the online Olympiad at this moment. Because first gold is always first gold. It doesn't matter whether it comes in online Olympiad or gold is gold. Doesn't matter. Yeah, it's just this medal. Yeah, and hopefully, I mean, I hope India can win a medal in an over the board tournament. I mean, a gold medal would be very special for me. Yeah. And it would be even special if I'm also part of the team. Yeah. So that is one dream I still hope to fulfill. Yeah. And many special moments. It is very hard to also the World Cup. One of the World Cups in I think it was 2007. Yeah, where I managed to go till the fourth round. Yeah. Yeah, and it was also one of the. I think it's one of the. What can I say? But this Olympiad medal definitely takes over everything. Yeah, everything else. Yeah, like it is. It's what can I say? This was just pure joy. Yeah, I mean that the team was coordinating fantastic. Yeah, unbelievable. Like I think the whole tournament we would have probably lost maybe just 2 games. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean for. I made +5, I think, if I remember. I think Sedu also made +5, yeah. And Adhiban, he was like incredible. He had like 6 or 7 losing positions and he managed to save every one of them. He did not lose a single game, yeah. I mean, of course, it was very scary for us to look at this board every day, but we knew like, okay, I mean, this guy is giving his life to fight for the country, yeah, okay. So this something this was, and Negi was playing very well on the top board, yeah, and Lalit was helping us heavily, yeah, and it was one of the best team efforts, I would say, yeah, like and Ramesh. The one thing with Ramesh was like he put us in very good mood, yeah. Normally the team would go for long walks, generally discussing about what to to play for and just before the last round we understood there was something like, I mean, we are kind of getting very close. The last round we are playing against Uzbeks, yeah, and there was a rest day before the last round, and I was late into the evening of the just before the round, like let's say 11 round is at 11 o'clock, And then the previous day evening until 5 or 6 o'clock, I was not able to decide what to play. Yeah. So I was like discussing my problems with Ramesh. I was telling him like, I have still not decided what to do. Like, okay, I mean, almost the whole of rest day is gone. Yeah. Like, and still I have not decided what to play. We have been working on so much this, what to do and what was going on. And he was like, saying that, just play something that is normal. Don't, push too much. Like, don't play something normal. If it's a surprise for your opponent, then it's well and good. And eventually I decided on an e4, yeah, on that day. Yeah. It was, I was like mostly playing d4 most of the time. And then suddenly it was switched to d4, yeah. And it was not, it was a quite unpleasant surprise for my opponent. I managed to beat Zumaev, yeah, on that day, yeah. And okay, what can I say? I mean, we finished third, yeah, and the only thing was like that was we did not play many top teams, but overall, like, okay, we did I think we did play Armenia and also probably we also played Germany as well. Actually, this beating Germany was one of the key moments in the Olympiad. I won with black against Nisipiano. Yeah, this was I think probably my best game of the Olympiad. Yeah, I mean, we managed to. I think we were the only country we managed to beat Germany. Germany was playing most of the top countries, and we managed to. When we managed to beat Germany, we felt our chances were like, much until that point. The German team had not lost a single match. Yeah, so by beating Germany, we kind of we sensed that our chances of a medal had improved greatly. Yeah, so this was a key moment for me during the Olympiad. Yeah, like beating Nisipiano with black was like big. I had annotated this game for chess base. Yeah, and so this Olympiad, I think this it overtakes everything. And then there are many pleasant. After I won the Capablanca Memorial in 2017, I was quite happy. Like, I mean, I had won. I haven't had one closed event for quite a long time. Yeah, and winning the event ahead of Ivanchuk was, I think, in my opinion, one of my great achievements. Yeah. Many things also, I think, were a lot of stuff. What can I say? Like, I think one time our team won the European Club Cup. Yeah, so I think Hari was also part of the team. I think, yeah, probably, yeah. So that was also a pleasant memory. A lot of pleasant memories, but overall, I have been more like a lot of team tournaments in my practice. Yeah, and in general, it was like, okay, I mean, you could go with a lot of generally discuss a lot of chess over, let's say, dinner also. Like, whenever the team goes to a dinner, let's say, and then most of the time we were analyzing what happened in today's game, what's going on, and so on. Then there is a lot of team meetings, and more like I have considered myself more as a team player rather than more. Okay, I mean, I also played a lot of individual tournaments and won also, but as a team player, there is a certain amount of let's say pride here.
And sir, like generally, whenever you play this Olympiad or whenever you're representing India, do you feel any pressure or something because you're representing India?
Pressure, yeah, definitely there is. You are given the opportunity to represent a lot of people. Yeah, so that is always some kind of pressure to do well. Yeah, but you have to handle it. There is no other way. Like, okay, sometimes I handled it very well. Sometimes it did not go so well, and if I feel that I have let down my teammates, yeah. but it you have to see, like, okay, I mean, there is always some kind of pressure. Like when you're playing for India, you feel the tension during the game and also during the preparation as well. Yeah, but when you actually win some clutch games, yeah, like, okay, I mean, some games which are, really crucial for your this thing, it never felt very, I mean, happier. Yeah? Like, okay, I mean, there's this happiness that you managed to win a key game for your country. Yeah, that is a different kind of happiness. Yeah, I mean, the last time I played in the Olympiad, this was in Georgia. Yeah. I won a few key games, like, okay, that gave a single victory against the other teams. But one game I lost against Armenia, I felt not. I mean, this was one game. It was quite tough. Yeah. I mean, it was, especially it was.
Yeah,
We were
against
playing very well at that point. Yeah. Against Martrosian. Yeah. So
yeah.
we were playing very well until that point. Yeah. And it is only that like, okay, I mean, the team decided to give me I mean, immediately after this loss, the team decided to give me another game, yeah, with against Netherlands, yeah, and I managed to win this game, yeah. So this was like, I mean, it also shows, like, okay, I mean, the team believes in you even after you lost the game, yeah. So it was a very good team spirit, I should say, yeah. What was the original question? Like,
Just about the pressure and so on. So I think you have answered
no,
in the
pressure. Yeah,
beginning.
pressure. No, pressure is always exist. Yeah, like when you, especially when you're playing for India, it is big pressure. Yeah, I mean, there are so many people. Though those are helping. Yeah, that is also adding up. Yeah, I mean, one way it is, for instance, the federation is providing. I mean, I think the last time when we played in Georgia, the federation was providing seconds as well. Yeah, there was also people who were working for the team during the Olympiad. Before the Olympiad, there were training camps. So much of work was going on, and everything. Like, okay, I mean, there is so much of effort from so many people. Yeah, so you feel the pressure, but also you feel happy that so many people are working, to get yeah. Naturally there is a lot of pressure, and winning those games is generally providing a lot of happiness. Yeah, let's say those I would say it is I mean, this it is some of these games. I told you my game against Nisipiani. When I won that game, I was like, really, really very happy. Yeah, that. So you have to handle the pressure and keep playing. I mean, when it comes to some clutch games, you have to still win. Yeah. So, and also in 2014, I also won a key game against Yu Yangi in Asian. Yeah. So that is also like some of these games, like they just stick to your mind. Yeah. So you could say that winning such games, you could say that you gain the confidence to handle that key games at some pressure, exactly, like but when you miss chances, you still have a lot of scope to improve. Yeah. So I mean, I missed a drawing opportunity against Martirosian. Yeah. So this was so there is also some scope to improve. Yeah. So keep working on it, and hopefully things will come around at some point of time. Yeah, that's my attitude towards such stuff. Yeah.
And what was your expectations before playing the Olympiads, like in Tromso or in Baku or in Georgia? Like, were you expecting to get the bronze medal in Tromso?
uh, no, Tromso, we were starting as a 19th seed. Yeah, so in general we were playing all right. Like one of the main things Ramesh said to the team was you know when actually I did not lose any game, but we had one loss. I think we had a draw against I don't know, draw. Probably we lost against Cuba, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. Probably we lost against Cuba. Yeah. What Ramesh was saying was, in general, the quality of the games were like decent. Yeah. I mean, it was not like somebody, outplayed us and then like the quality simply went on. All of us were playing very reasonably. No, no bad games as such. So generally, the team was doing the team was having a very good momentum. Yeah. And I think okay, Adhiban's games, it was still shaky for us, but myself and Sedu were scoring heavily. Yeah. I think we both made +5. Sedu on board 2 and myself on board 3. Yeah. So I'm sorry, sometimes I forget the original question. What was the original question? Expectations. Yeah. Expectations. No, okay. I mean, we were starting as 19th seed. We were only hoping to play a good tournament, yeah. And it came as a big surprise for us that we managed to win a medal, yeah. And it came as a very pleasant surprise for everyone who was involved, yeah. Like big. To win a medal out of, let's say, I think 190 countries, yeah, probably, yeah. It is. It's something else. It's very hard for me to describe that feeling. Yeah, I mean the whole team was celebrating like I don't know, maybe for days. Like, okay, I mean it took us probably 2 to 3 days to come back. Yeah, like to come back to our hometowns and so on. Yeah, and all the time that the team was celebrating most of the time. Yeah, like, okay, it's quite a difficult. I mean, it's not possible to express this happiness. But during the 2018, I think, yeah. This was already like 2018, I think. Where was this? Yeah, but I just want to know the place. Yeah, I forget the place. What was? Olympiad was in. Yeah, it was in Batumi. Yeah, it was in Batumi. Yeah, so no, Batumi. I think we were already like. I think we started at 5th or 6th seed probably. Yeah, I mean here we are already having a good expectations. Yeah. One thing was like we were one of the top rated teams, and but you also need some kind of luck in the Olympiads. Yeah, it's not that first of all there has to be like 2 players who should be playing very exceptionally, and also you need some kind of. Yeah, actually my performance in the tournament was yeah. Otherwise I think I made quite decent results. Like, for instance, last I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After the last 5 games, I made like 4 wins and 1 loss. Yeah, so it was quite decent result. This 1 loss that was okay. I mean, it was still, but as 2018, we were already expecting to play very well. Yeah, and we were hoping to take a medal. Yeah, because the team was quite highly placed, and I mean, we were like probably 4th or 5th seed. Maybe I'm not sure about the seeding. Yeah, and but the thing was like we were playing against very strong opposition. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we played US probably, and we lost to US a little bit, and then we also played Netherlands. We also played Armenia. Czech Republic, and yeah, I mean, we played a reasonable amount of strong teams, yeah. But some amount of luck is required, yeah. Like you need to have some kind of luck to actually make it to the medal in the Olympiad, yeah. I mean, this the one where we won the bronze medal, yeah. Like there we had quite an amount of luck, yeah, I should say, yeah. And Poland was actually playing very well in the Olympiad, yeah, throughout, yeah. Like they played all the strong teams and they were always playing in the top section, yeah. And I think they did not make it to the podium that time, yeah. So it's not only a question of playing well, it's also some amount of luck is involved, yeah. Like you get a slightly weaker pairing and so on, and this happens, yeah. So even if you're a top team, sometimes even the Russian team fails to make it to the podium, yeah. So sometimes it happens, yeah. So some luck is still required, yeah. But as far as expectations are concerned, we were actually expecting to take a medal already during this Olympiad, yeah.
And sir, I think my questions are finished. Like there are some audience questions, little bit. If you have time, maybe we can.
Sure.
So
sure.
Tanmay Srinath asked like how much does intuition how much is intuition's role in general? Like for example, in Surya's channel, Anand said that the best move automatically comes to you. So like how much do you think intuition plays a role?
That is a question of a talent, and it's a combination of hard work. Yeah, it is. So Anand is like one of the players who's kind of very intuitive. I mean, even during this matches, he generally does not spend more than 15 minutes for any given position. Yeah, it's 15 minutes is the highest amount of time that he'd spend. Yeah, I mean, he feels that any time that you spend more, it doesn't may not be any. I mean, that the time spent for instance, like more than 15 minutes on one given move, yeah, it is not worth it. Yeah, if it comes to him, it comes to him. So basically he restricts like, okay, I mean, this much amount of time, this thing. So and for him, okay, I mean, he has been playing at the very top for a quite long time, and working with computers, evolving his game and so many things. So he has developed a high level of intuition for for any position, yeah, given for any given position, okay. So that kind of stuff, like it will take years to build, yeah. Like intuition, it takes years to build, and especially like you need to play a lot of strong opposition, yeah, to get to that kind of level. But intuition can also build in other ways, like, okay, most of the time when if you're working on the board at home, yeah, not with computers, you can also build because when you're thinking for yourself, it's also some kind of practice you make, yeah. So intuition, it's only mostly can be used by players, like who have already a successful this thing. Like for instance, a lot of they've all had to have some success already there, yeah. To trust your intuition blindly, like when you're as a young and improving player, it's kind of a bit risky, yeah. But it certainly plays a part. I'm not saying that it doesn't play a part at all. Like intuition is like, but I would say for a young player, you can trust your intuition, but it is also better to base it on precise calculation, yeah. My opinion, chess is like 99% calculation, yeah, and then that 1% of intuition, if you want to use it, you have to have so much of work behind you, yeah. You should have worked so much so that you develop that kind of intuition, yeah. So for young players, it is better to concentrate on the work, concentrate on the calculation, rather than trusting intuition.
And Bharat Kalyan, he heard a story that you work more time analyzing than the time you spend playing. So, is he asking, is it true or not?
It is probably true, because I do spend a lot of time analyzing. It is not okay. It has just happened. Like okay, when it's I think only last year I played a little bit more than usual. Normally I spend like more time at analyzing. Let's say in a year I would normally spend like 6 to 7 months of playing, but 5 months at least I would spend at home analyzing. Most of the time. No, you have a lot of stuff to go through. Like not working on opening so much, and also this correspondence games, and your own games, and there is some things simply out of interest you work. Like for instance, I already mentioned that I spent like 15 to 20 days on just rook and pawn and games. I mean, it is when you feel that you have a weakness that you have to fix. So that is some things you just have to allocate time to solve those problems before you start playing again. So my attitude is like always, you work on your weaknesses more, and then spend a little bit less playing. So which is probably true, which comes to that I spend more time analyzing rather than playing.
Grandmaster Sham Sundar asked me like, why are you not active on social media and so on?
Social media is one thing that is it. First of all, there is so much to do at home that I don't really find the time to be active on social media, and it's very difficult to for me to actually be active, because I generally put something across in social media if I feel there is something that a relevant message that I need to pass across. Yes, I mean. There was a video it came through our organization like ONGC, and this was a message about how to deal with the corona, staying at home, and like an awareness message kind of thing. So unless I have something that is really important to say, I don't see the necessary for me to to actively participate in social media. I mean, I would say that to put something across, it should be like it should be a proper message, like okay, it should help the people. If not, then I have the opinion that I'm simply wasting my time in social media. There's nothing much for me to do. For chess, maybe. I mean, for instance, let's say if I'm making something about chess, maybe analyze my games or something that is. But I have been regularly writing analysis about my games in general. For instance, I also write for the chess-based magazine. I also wrote recently, and also for I think the New in Chess. So, I mean, I am generally writing about my games, mostly about chess. But to be involved in social media, I feel that I should have some really important message to to tell the people or whatever it is. Like otherwise I find it's not worth my time to spend time there. Like something that is actually relevant. If I find something, then I put it across. Otherwise there is so many other things to do rather than spend my time on the internet.
And so like nowadays people are becoming grandmasters at the age of 13 or 14. Do you think there is a age factor in chess? Like, can people become grandmaster, or for that matter, a world champion at the age of the 35 or 40 or later?
It age certainly plays a role, like, okay, but I think the what people fail to understand is, like, let's say Pragyananda, for that case. Um, the guy, I think probably he finished his title probably when he was 12 or 13. I don't know when was this, or let's
Yeah,
say Nihal also. Yeah,
yeah, around
what
13. Yeah.
people failed around 12, 13, whatever. I'm not saying that. What people fail to understand is, I think Pragyananda took to chess when he was probably 5, maybe. Yeah. So there is a 7 years of solid work. Yeah. Like, I mean, he has been working with Ramesh. So many. There is 6, 7 years of solid work that went into his, like, I mean, to develop that kind of in interest and talent. Yeah. So what people overlook generally is that this work has been done before. Like, the base work has been done 6 to 7 years. Yeah, people only see that this guy achieved this many years, like 12 or 13. But what about this hours and hours of work before the grandmaster title? Yeah, I mean, how many people would generally put their kids, like, just because the kid is interested in chess, rather than go out and play, and then, like, put the kid to chess and then work, slog 3 to 4 hours every day. So it is not, I mean, the encouragement coming from the parents. Yeah. And it is a lot of team effort, and from the coaches. And so people becoming grandmasters, many people overlook the fact that these kids have worked so much before they achieve the title. Yeah, I mean, like, you have to have a maturity to work, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, so much time on chess. That is something amazing that these kids have. And how these kids have this kind of work ethic at this age, that shows the commitment of the parents, to allow their kids to work and to work so hard at such a young age. Yeah, that is simply amazing. Yeah, so you have to give a lot of credit to the kids, the parents, the coaches, so many people behind the work. Yeah. As far as this, I mean, the people achieving some kind of milestone after the age of 40 or something, it's still very much possible. Yeah, it is a question of a correct approach kind of thing. Of course, once you when you have a kid, family, and so on, there are some things that will take a back seat. Yeah, I mean, you have to spend time for the kid and so on. And there are some things that will, I mean, that certainly affect your this thing. But also, you're kind of more matured. Yeah. And for instance, when Gelfand qualified for the world world championship challenger, yeah, I think he was already 42. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it depends on how, like, and already by then I think he already had 2 kids by the time. Yeah, so it is not it's not a question of age. Yeah, age plays some role, because maybe some energy levels. Yeah, probably it's a bit higher for younger players. Yeah, they're able to sustain pressure for a longer. Yeah. But if you are able to put in enough amount of physical exercise to, and then you develop a strong mental fitness as well, so nothing is impossible. For age is just a number. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, some people get stagnant at one point, like they fail to cross a rating. Let's say some people are stuck at 2500, some people are stuck at 2400. So what advice would you give to them?
Getting stagnant is just a problem for everybody. Yeah, like, not just at 2400 or 2500. Sometimes even world champions can become stagnant. Yeah. The main point is to understand that chess is a game that it's constantly evolving. Yeah. Now, with also the use of engines. Yeah, it is keeps changing. Yeah, like for instance, when you look at some positions years ago, you had a completely different idea, but now when you look at with the help of engines, it's have a completely different idea altogether. Yeah, totally different things. Yeah. So when you see stagnant, the point is to understand what areas people are lacking. Yeah, like you analyze your games and then you see what you're lacking. Yeah. For instance, you let's say you have problems with converting good positions. Yeah. So you identify those weaknesses. Mostly you identify those weaknesses, spend specific amount of time for getting rid of those weaknesses. Yeah. And this has been in my this thing, it has been a regular feature. Yeah. For instance, this rook and pawn endings I mentioned, sometimes queen and pawn end games, sometimes some sharp middle game stuff. Yeah. Like if you're making some kind of errors in some sharp middle games, then to analyze a lot of sharp middle games. Actually, when I was younger, my father put me to work on Michael Toll's games. Yeah, I analyzed the games and I wrote like a lot of analysis. Yeah, like for these games, and later on I checked with the official analysis and also with Fridge. It is it's a practice that I have actually continued for quite long. Like I mean, for instance, still sometimes I do analyze some games of other players and check the analysis with let's say this whatever engine. Yeah, so this is analysis that it helps me a lot. I don't know about other players, because what you analyze is like you analyze this sharp stuff, and then when you then we check with the engine, you're always making this practice like an over the board practice kind of thing. Yeah. So for every problem that you identify, there is always some kind of solution. Yeah, you can always find something that you can do. Yeah, about it. Only thing is like time trouble. There is only a thing is like you have to avoid time trouble no matter what. Yeah, like at least try to make things faster. Yeah, time trouble is if it becomes a habit, it becomes very dangerous. Yeah, so time trouble is the one thing that you have to avoid. At least make things not make things worse. Like okay, I mean, for instance, if you let's say you may have to make 10 moves in 20 say 10 minutes, try to like reduce it to like 10 moves in 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Slowly try to reduce the amount of pressure when you're actually in time trouble. Yeah, but as such, when you become stagnant, you have to identify what exactly the areas that you're having problems with, and then spend some specific time to get rid of the problem. There is no other way to go around it. Yeah, this thing is always like identify problems, work on them, and then you start playing tournaments. When you are in stagnant, if you feel you're having stagnant, playing more tournaments will actually make it worse. Yeah, than the problem itself.
And so, like, finally, some kind of rapid fire questions. The questions may not have fire in them, but still, I'll just ask them. So, first of all, who is your favorite chess player?
That is a very hard question, but it's very hard to say. It keeps, I mean, changing. But one player that stood out was Kasparov. Yeah, especially because of the amount of work he put into the game. Yeah, just he transformed everything. Yeah, like so much of and also one more thing. This I have studied these books by Kasparov, this my great predecessors. Yeah, I studied this books. Yeah, I have all the volumes and I have studied these books, and also Kasparov matches. I mean, these books were incredible. Yeah, like the high amount of work. I mean, so much time and spent, and also this Also he wrote this developments, on different areas, how during his formative years and many things and so on. There is some 3 volumes here. So Kasparov is the one player who had such a great influence on me.
Yeah.
So that would make him my favorite player. Yeah.
So favorite tennis
Not
player?
only because not only because he played great games, but he also wrote so much for chess. Yeah, this is
exactly.
the best thing about Kasparov. It's so much. He made so much. He wrote so much for chess. Yeah, like I don't think any other world champion has done so much writing on chess. Yeah.
Yeah. And your favorite
favorite tennis player?
Yeah.
Roger Federer.
I was expecting Pete Sampras or someone.
No, Federer, because first of all, the age thing that you mentioned, he beats all those age barriers. He still plays very actively, and I think so, and age, and also Federer is a kind of person who brings a lot of changes to his game, like when he feels I was watching him play this Wimbledon. He lost against Djokovic. Very long. I was hoping that he would win this Wimbledon. He was playing so well, and he missed a lot of opportunities. Yeah, but the point was, there was something that felt there was some kind of change in his serve. Yeah, I have not seen it for some time. Yeah, he changed his service. There was something different about the way he served. His service. Yeah, so it was. It's amazing that this guy could change something that has been with him for so much time. Yeah, how could he change his serve? Like how is this possible? He has made so much, and then something he changed his serve. Yeah, like okay, so much time you served differently, and suddenly you change your serve. Yeah, like this serving action was so different. Yeah, it was. You can only amaze at this ability to evolve. Yeah, like okay, when it's actually required. Yeah, so that makes him my favorite tennis player.
Yeah, and your favorite actor, Rajinikanth or Kamal Hassan?
It's very between if we have to choose it. When I was young, I was quite fond of Rajini because one of the most stylish actor around. But when later on, like when I began to actually understand movies, like okay, Kamal Hassan is the kind of guy who makes commercial movies and movies for himself. Yeah, like only movies for perhaps only for what he feels like he should tell the audience. Yeah, so I would say both. Yeah, like okay, it is Rajini will always be stylish no matter what his age. You cannot. This style is born with him. Yeah, you cannot take it away from him. Yeah, so just that's what he normally says in movies as well. Yeah, okay, the style is born with me. You just can't take it away from him. But Kamal Hassan, for sometimes these movies they don't appeal for a general audience. Yeah, sometimes it's just maybe sometimes it is like for it is not commercial. Yeah, it is made for his own happiness. Yeah, so it's a quality that I appreciate. Like okay, you make something off the beaten track, and then just for your own, like you're expecting. You're just showing your creative potential. Yeah. So I think it's also it's a character trait that you have to admire in Kamal Hassan also. Yeah.
So Sachin or Virat Kohli?
very hard to choose, but I would go for Virat Kohli, because I have. I mean, it is very hard, but Virat Kohli is just. I mean, it's very hard. Sachin was, of course, I think probably the greatest, but Virat Kohli will probably. Because he could also handle captaincy.
Yeah.
I mean, not only be a good player, also handle captaincy well.
Yeah. And your 3 biggest regrets in your life, mistakes or regrets in your life?
It's very hard to. I mean, this missing this tournaments is probably some. There is always some kind of regret. Yeah, like when you are very close and then you miss winning the tournament. That is some kind of regret. But 3 would be like, okay. I mean, that's.
Yeah, maybe 1 is enough. I think so.
I don't know. I mean, regret. What can I say? Regret is very. There are not much. I mean, I don't. Not much. Not many things that I generally. I mean, regret. I mean, sometimes maybe because. Out of anger, I would have spoken to some of my friends in a very harsh way. That things. I mean, you take the liberty because that they are your friends. You tell them like something that is that was not intended to be in that kind of tone. Yeah, I mean. You feel that just because your friends, they might be able to take it, but sometimes your friends are not able to take that kind of criticism. Yeah, like so those things. Okay. The thing with words is you cannot take them back so easily once you pour them out. Yeah, so sometimes. I might have spoken very harshly about my friends or sometimes even family. That it is one area that I still think that I could have, spoken a little bit more softly. Yeah. So this. So that is one thing that I would regret, but it's a growing process. Yeah. So first of all, it takes time to realize that you are very harsh when you are criticizing, probably very harsh. And then when somebody else has to put it across, like, okay, I mean, somebody has to observe you and then tell you. It's what can I say? Sometimes when we are dealing with kids, you have to be a little bit harsh, otherwise they are not simply listening. Yeah. And so you need to have some kind of balance. Yeah, like so I mean, this for sure, this some harsh words to my friends, I would love to take them back. Yeah, that is a serious regret. Yeah, like, okay, I mean, if not, okay. So otherwise, I don't really feel any regret as such. I generally feel I'm kind of a happy person. Not if I feel I have to do something, I simply do it. Yeah, it's just not much of a regret kind of thing.
Your favorite chess book?
I think it has to be My Great Predecessors by Kasparov. Yeah. It has to be this. A lot of chess books of made. Also, this this book, Stress of Chess by Walter Brown, and many books. I think also this My Games Against the Champions. I think this was by Sairavan, I think, and so many books. A lot of books Dorotsky's Endgame manual, amazing gem, yeah, just it's unbelievable, yeah. Like this is a book, it's a must read for everyone, yeah. I mean, it is not only this Endgame manual. He simply mentions there are some blue kind of things. These are the endgames that some people, I mean, all chess players, that simply they should remember this endgames, yeah, not bother about. I would say that also. There are a few things that actually differentiate. For instance, there was one particular incident I remember about Magnus. He mentioned a particular a rook versus bishop against the bishop versus knight, and then bishops were of opposite color. Yeah, and Magnus knew this was a win. I have not come across any endgame book which has dealt this kind of stuff. Yeah, probably I'm missing something. But this kind of like I also read somewhere that rook two bishops wins against bishop and two knights in 225 moves. Yeah. I mean, how could you this kind of endgame knowledge? Yeah, like, okay, I mean, if somebody could make it as a book, very unusual material imbalance. Like, let's say it has been solved. Yeah, like, okay, rook and two bishops generally win against the bishop and two knights. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, some of these, okay, you probably don't get that kind of positions in your games, but bishop against rook and all those things have all been covered. But sometimes these unusual endgames, yeah, for instance, rook bishop against bishop versus knight of opposite color bishops. This is winning, yeah. So yeah. I mean, how can you this somebody if had compiled that would be very nice, yeah, perhaps. But in general, I read many books, but Kasparov's books have had the most positive influence on me. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the favorite for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And one final question, sir. Like, what would you tell your younger version of yourself? Like, what would you give advice to your younger version?
The younger version. That would be only one thing, yeah. Just if you are very close to winning a tournament, just win it, yeah. Not not make any mistakes, because I have missed so many opportunities. So that is one thing that you see. Simply just when you're close to the goal, just sometimes you need to be solid, and then just not be carried away by your I mean, like, if you make a positive start, you need to understand that the positive start, and then to make it balanced, and then you carry it through. Yeah. So that is one thing that is still I'm saying it to myself. Yeah. So it's not like not only to my youngest self. For instance, 2019 was Aeroflot, yeah, and that is barely like a year ago, yeah. So, and also after I beat Artemiev in the Poikovsky tournament, I was feeling quite happy. But next game I lost, and then the tournament was uneven. Yeah, last 3 games I was winning, and I missed. So my one thing that I would say is, like, when you have a good position, you need to convert it. Yeah, in chess, even in tournament life, like to understand that opportunities are limited. Yeah, it's not like you get opportunities every day, so you have to catch the opportunities when it comes. Yeah, so that is the one thing that I would say to my younger self. Yeah.
So those are all the questions I had, sir. So thank you very much for coming, and you shared a lot of
sure. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I mean, the last time we made the interview, it was like a trip down my memory lane. Yeah. So a lot of pleasant experience. So I mean, so that time I didn't really manage to answer your questions. I hope this time I did.
Yeah, you answered every single of my question, and also some of audience questions.
Okay. And
I came to know a lot of secrets of yours. So thank you very much for sharing. and
Sure,
good luck
sure.
to your chess and also
Thank you,
the
thank you,
badminton.
thank you. It was a very nice experience for me, and uh, I hope and I wish all the chess players to improve and also to stay safe because it'll be a while before we can actually conquer this corona. So always be safe, stay home, stay indoors, and wash your hands and stay safe generally. So. And I hope we as a country will soon conquer this corona situation and then come back strongly.